Banshee in the Woods.
As someone who has grown up listening to ghost stories, I was always fascinated by the mysterious creatures that descend after dark, playing mischief on the mortals inhabiting the earth. When I was a young girl, still in school, my grandfather used to humor me with countless stories of witches, ghosts, and banshees that he had met throughout his lifetime. One of my favorites was the one where one night, after having enjoyed a game of playing cards with his friends, my grandfather left his office late. It was the early 70s, and the beautiful Himalayas were still untouched by grotesque dams, metallic roads, and long chains of hotels. The sky was dimly lit by countless twinkling stars. It was getting quite late, and there weren't many people on the road, so my grandfather was pedaling down his familiar unlit road humming an old country song. The silence of the night was broken only by the occasional buzzing of cicadas. Already quite late, my grandfather figured that a few more minutes wouldn't make much of a difference to my grandmother's temper, so he stopped for a cigarette break. As he was puffing his lungs with tar and pulling out chains of smoke, he heard from somewhere not too far away the sound of someone whistling. Thinking it was a figment of his overactive imagination, he did not care much and continued smoking. Suddenly, the wind blew and carried with it an eerie sound. Chun, chun. My grandfather looked around and saw a glint of something red amidst the crooked oak branches directly in front of him. He quickly doused the bidi with his left foot, turned, and had only just mounted his bicycle when he heard the loud wailing of a woman. Slowly he turned around and found a pair of gleaming red eyes stalking him. A look of horror spread across his face, and terrified that it might be a chudel or witch, my grandfather started pedaling with fervor and did not stop until he reached home. My grandfather used to regale me with this tale when I was growing up, and always ended the fable on a cautionary note. Do not loiter alone in the dark. Several years later, as I was trotting down a similar dusty road in the foothills of the Himalayas with a friend, I heard a wailing sound. Suddenly, the memory of my grandfather's old tale rushed through my mind. Afraid that we might have accidentally encountered a non living entity, I told my friend to hurry back. When she failed to grasp the sudden change in my demeanor, I quickly recapped the story to her, and much to my surprise, she started laughing. It was only after she had regained her composure from bouts of laughter that she told me that the eerie sound that we heard was the call of a spotted eagle owl, and the chun chun sound was not coming from a chudel's anklets, but were probably dried pods of kanju trees rustling in the wind. As she explained it to me, sure enough, we heard the rustling of leaves and saw something glide across the sky before settling in another copse of oak trees. Feeling both sheepish and relieved, I joined my friend in her laughter. The next day, I called my grandfather, who is an old man now, and although his face has lost some of its beautiful features with age, he still has a wonderful memory and a young man's vigor. He was pleasantly surprised to hear from me so early in the morning. We chatted for a while and said our goodbyes. I couldn't bring myself to tell him that all those years ago, what he witnessed was not a chudel, but a harmless owl. After all, I don't think he would ever forgive me for robbing him of a wonderful ghost story.